Morning YouTube. Today's day 3 of our Beginning Beekeeping series, and it's all about that suit, no trouble. Okay, we're going to talk about bee suits today, and this is also going to couple as a review of the bee suit that I've kind of settled into for right now. So I got my cup of joe, let's get our beekeeping game on, let's go. Beekeeping, a lot of times you can make your own stuff and make it work, but when it comes to bee suits, sometimes you get what you pay for. For example, when I got started beekeeping, the guy that was kind of helping me get started said, well, just jump on eBay and just grab any old cheap veil, it doesn't matter, you know, it'll keep them off. So what I did was grab exactly what he said, any old cheap veil. I don't remember exactly what I paid for this guy, but that's what I got. I know it was less than 20 bucks. I mean, it was pretty cheap. You can see the material is pretty thin, and I can tell you from experience, it is thin enough for bees to sting through. Because what happened was we went to move a couple hives that were supposedly calm hives, but what we didn't know when we got there was somebody had tried to move them into the woods the day before and got them all stirred up, and they tried to run with them on a dolly and whatnot. But long story short, we got there, I was suited up in my eBay suit, and we started trying to load these things into the truck. 72 stings later, I learned a valuable lesson. Sometimes you get what you pay for in beekeeping. This is the suit I ended up getting for Jericho. You can see it's a little thicker. This one is by Harvest Lane Honey. This one's worked out really well for her. She's not gotten stung through it once. It's got some little pockets in there and whatnot, and the nice thing about this is I was able to pick this guy up at Tractor Supply. So I didn't have to order it. We were able to go in there, she tried it on, it fit. It's got a self-supporting hood, so it keeps the bees off your head, and it's ventilated pretty well. Like I said, though, this fabric is kind of thick, so on a hot day, yeah, it can get a little bit warm. But for, you know, your general purpose bee suit, this isn't bad. And I want to say I paid about 60 bucks maybe for this thing. If I can find it, I'll put a link down below to where you can pick up one of these Harvest Lane Honey suits. Okay, so after my eBay suit experience with 72 bee stings, and those are just the ones we can count, I had stings on top of stings, I did the typical knee-jerk reaction and said, oh my gosh, that hurt. I jumped on Mann Lake and I ordered a bee suit. I was not going to get torn up like that again, and what I ended up getting was, this is the Mann Lake, it's that, I think they call it the Pro Vent, and you can see it has layers of mesh. Now that mesh, what it does is it does allow it to breathe a little bit better. You still get hot, you're still going to sweat, but not as much as a heavy cloth suit, I wouldn't think. This thing, you can see this thing is dirty, it's stained up. I have used this thing, it's been about 3 years now since I've gotten this thing, and it's held up well. I weed eat around the hives and everything wearing this sucker, and it doesn't really, I mean, it hasn't gotten torn up or anything like that. It's got several pockets on it. It's got side pockets here to keep your tools in, some front pockets. The veil is self-supporting and is easy to remove to take off, so you can wash the suit, and you'll want to hand wash the veil. You don't want to jack up all this wiring here that self-supports it. It's got a Velcro closure for when the hood comes down to keep it cinched up here against your neck. It's important, you want to make sure you have that thing down there. One thing I have learned is the zippers are big and round, and they do that to make it easy to grab with gloves on and whatnot. The disadvantage to that is this Velcro piece that folds down to kind of seal it up here is not quite big enough. Well, I guess technically it's big enough. You just have to get it just right to make sure it seals off. Otherwise, you will get the occasional bee inside your veil. Now, some of us like to go dirt rooster style and, you know, go without a suit at all. And I do that every now and then. I don't wear a suit when I pick up swarms. If I'm just gonna peek in the hives real quick, or maybe fill up some sugar in there if it's in one of the upper boxes, I don't necessarily put the suit on. But if I'm gonna work out in the bee yard for a while, this is the suit I wear. It's available in a plethora of sizes. It's got zippers on the bottom so you can zip it up over boots. Plenty of pockets, like I said. It's really durable. The one thing I wish I had done is, you can see this is the full body suit, man. This is like Michelin Man material right here. I wish that I had stopped and thought a little bit longer before I made that knee-jerk reaction and bought this, because honestly I would much rather just have the jacket and wear jeans or whatever on bottom, and I can cinch those up around the ankles. Because this is the one of the disadvantages. This is, it's bulky. When Jericho and I went to a beekeeping class last year, you know, we took our suits, and I mean, this thing, you can't exactly throw this thing in a small bag and take it with you. During beekeeping season, so to speak, I keep this in the truck box, and it takes up a considerable amount of space in the truck box. So while it has its distinct advantages in ventilation and pockets and zippers and attachments and whatnot, it's bulky. The jacket looks like it would be a much better fit for that, just because I always wear pants. I mean, you know, I've got jeans on or something, and the bees rarely get through those, and I don't feel like I need the legs. I don't really use the pockets on the legs very much. But overall, if I were to recommend a bee suit, that Mann Lake Pro Vent suit, it's durable, it holds up well. It's just one of those things you've got to make sure you have for beekeeping. Okay, another thing you're going to want to make sure you have with your bee suit is a pair of gloves. These are Jerichos Gloves. These are goat skin. Let's see if I can figure out what brand these are. Got these at Tractor Supply also. I can't tell what brand they are. I imagine they may be that Harvest Lane Honey again. You can see they've got the long sleeves, and they've got a material that you can't really see it, but it's like that ripstop material, so they don't tear. These work well. Like I said, she's not been stung to them, and the goat skin is really nice to be able to move your hands around. You can get, you know, you can still grip things and whatnot with those. The gloves I have now, I bought just recently, and I'll put a link to these gloves down below also. These are a much heavier canvas up top, and they have, let's get my hand in here to show you. They have a vented area here as well, where air can kind of come in and out. And it's goat skin down here. It's leather up here, or actually that's that canvasy, you know, those leather work gloves kind of material. So the cuff is really sturdy, which a lot of times on gloves, if you don't pull the little thumb strap of your bee suit down to hold it down here, a lot of times that suit will ride up a little bit, and bees will get you on the wrists. So these, I've not been popped on the wrist very much with these. So a lot of guys wear those nitrile gloves, those little latex, I guess for lack of a different word, gloves, and I've worn those before, but they say they get better dexterity with it and stuff, but I enjoy using these. I've tried the nitrile gloves. They're okay, but I have big hands, and they're kind of hard to get in and out of those suckers. So good pair of gloves to go with your bee suit. It's another important thing. Also, depending on the suit you go with, they have some suits that do have a top kind of like this. This is that cheap eBay suit. They've got a top like this, and I can get it gripped. You'll want to make sure you have some kind of little hat or something to go under there. They sell these little helmets that can go into some of these suits to keep it off. Because what'll happen is this suit's going to weigh down, and trust me, I know. If you didn't notice, I have no hair. And what happened when I was doing this is this suit, I didn't have a hat on under it. And so it was right down against my head. And if you have ever been stung on a bald head, you know the meaning of pain. So, hang on one sec. So anyway, if you're going to get one of those, make sure you get something to separate that suit from your head. Yes, I know all of you people with hair think that it's not going to happen to you, but I imagine they can sting through your hair just as well. So go ahead and get you something to keep that separated off of your head. Also, if you do end up going with one of the less expensive suits, and I keep this just because, like, if I'm doing cutouts or something like that, a lot of times the homeowner wants to kind of stand around and see, but they're a little edgy about being too close. And if they'll just, they can stand back with this and not necessarily get torn up. But I do recommend you'll want something with sleeves if you get something thin like this, because they're gonna get through this. So, but like I said, all in all, I'm very pleased with that Mann Lake Pro Vent suit. Jericho's very pleased with her Harvest Lane suit. You can pick that up, like I said, at Tractor Supply. I'm sure you can get it at other places. The Mann Lake suit, I know you can get obviously from Mann Lake. You can get it from Amazon, and like I said, I'm going to put that link down below. If you are going to grab one of those, I would definitely appreciate you clicking that link down below, because it does help our channel out a little bit. But that's it. That's lesson 3 for beginning beekeeping. It's all about that suit. So hit like, hit subscribe, comment if you have any questions. I'm more than happy to answer your questions. Y'all take care.